everybody, and welcome to the Moto2 Japanese Grand Prix here at Twin Ring Motegi in the Mobility Resort Motegi. So 22 laps will be the MotoGP distance, but we have 19 laps ahead of us coming up for Moto2. Another quick blast around this amazing circuit. Tomcat Chantra has pole position here as well for the Honda Team Asia bike on their home soil. Ayagura starts second. Let's head down to the grid and join as well with
great position, and
Yoshi Yamanaka.
this is our home Grand Prix, so we are wishing that we can finish in the same position in the race, but as you know, the race and qualify is a little bit different, so we have 19 laps to go, so let's see if they can perform same as yesterday, and then we hope we can fight for the winning the race.
Any concerns? Obviously overnight rain and not having a warm-up, but both boys feeling ready to go?
My concern is only the thing is yesterday night was raining, and maybe track condition is not same as yesterday, so could affect to our riders, so let's see how it's going on.
Good luck, Hero.
Thank you.
Yeah, slightly different conditions from yesterday, but track temperature now 33 degrees, so it's picking up a little bit. We saw a few wet patches in the Moto3 race, but the two Honda Team Asia riders have been above everybody else, haven't they? Ayagura winner here last year. I mean, it's a good headache for the team manager to have, isn't it?
It is. I mean, no pressure. We're first and second now. It's our home GP. All you've got to do is finish first and second again. Just on the weather conditions changing, that just have me thinking about Jake Dixon. If that's going to play into anyone's hands, it's Jake. He's exceptionally good in conditions like that, where the grip's perhaps a little bit down, and he needs something that's going to mess those guys up. They've had such strong pace all weekend. Something like that for Jake is going to help him. And also we've got Pedro Acosta in fourth. That's going to play into his hands too. But yeah, never easy to be first and second and finish first and second in the race, but they've looked good, and there's no reason why they won't today.
You're looking at Alonso Lopez there, who was making the headlines for the wrong reasons, perhaps, last week in India, Neil. On the podium here last year, but because of his incident with Jake Dixon, he does have to serve a double long lap penalty today. He's on the second row of the grid, but a deserved penalty.
Oh, yeah, it was a deserved penalty. You don't want him on the second row of the grid, though. That's where he was last time. He's very, very...
He's got to behave.
I'm going to put an extra one, very aggressive. Yeah, he has got to behave. Keep an eye on him. When on the start, he's on the second row. Obviously, he's there in bright orange. He usually waits for everyone to brake, and then he goes 1,000, 2,000, and then grabs the brake. So the fact that he's got that double long lap penalty will rule him out, because it's quite a long lap penalty at this track. It seems to vary from track to track, but it's at turn 3 and 4, and it looks quite narrow and long. We saw it, didn't we? When we walked it.
Almost.
No, you didn't. You was on the wrong line, weren't you? Remember? That was that corner. So yeah, it's going to be tricky for Alonso, but it's all about the start for him and everyone else. Keep riding him.
Hold your breath.
Yeah, close your eyes. He does.
Let's go to the third row of the grid. In the middle of it is Sam Lowes, and he's talking to Michael.
Sam, you've got some really good pace this weekend, maybe a little bit further back on the grid than your speed suggests, but feeling good today?
Yeah, I feel good. I didn't put it together in quali. I made a small mistake in the last sector, and yeah, we could have been probably one row better, but I think there's a couple of guys with a bit better pace, but then the next group, I feel like I'm in it, so get a good start getting the group. It's a long 19 laps around here, and yeah, like you said, I've been working hard on the pace. It feels good, and I'm looking forward to a nice race.
Good luck, Sam.
Cheers, mate.
It looks like Sam has got some good pace, Taylor, for this one.
Yeah, it's not Sam's favourite track, I don't think. He enjoys a lot more of the faster flowing circuits, and this one's a lot more stop-start. I hope he can have a good race today. He's had some bad luck this season. I mean, just his visa situation alone in India, I mean, this weekend has been a lot more straightforward for him. So yeah, I hope he can have a good race and a strong result.
Manuel Gonzalez there, he's going from the fourth row of the grid, P10, just doesn't sit, I mean, great rider, we can see the improvements, but just can't get past that fifth position at the moment, can he?
Yeah, and it's been a weekend to forget for him, really. He's been on fire recently, but been a little bit average, and it's sort of a bit of a home race for the Yamaha Mastercamp team. So, yeah, he'll be looking to be aggressive. He's really aggressive off the start. If I was him, I think he's on the outside. I'd be doing a little Buffalo Girls go around the outside sort of line.
What?
Is that
must be an age thing.
Yeah, you know the song.
We've not heard that before.
You know that song, don't you? Do you want to sing it to you?
No,
please.
thanks.
Please don't. I beg you not to.
Joe Roberts, there you can see in your picture who we heard from earlier. What about Sergio Garcia, who we had the battle with last week in India? He's going from the fifth row of the grid. He's been kind of slowly developing, but actually, has he done better than you expected him to in his debut year in Moto2?
Garcia, yeah, we see it's a real difficult. There's the one or two absolute standout legends that managed to jump into Moto2 and are successful straight away, but Garcia's been very, very impressive. He's been fast and consistent, and he was almost on the podium last time out. So, yeah, I think he'll go well here.
You've got a teammate there of Rory Skinner, and we're going into races now where he's never been before. He's learning the tracks. How difficult is that, Taylor?
Very difficult. This track, I actually spoke to Rory on Thursday. I think he quite enjoyed this track. It's not that hard to learn. It's pretty straightforward. It's just stop-start hairpins, a bit like some of the BSB tracks we go to, so more his style. But yeah, I can't tell people at home as well just how difficult it is when this is your first time round, travelling to all these countries. We're in Japan one week, Thailand, Australia. Every single weekend is a massive culture shock. It's a huge, there's a big impact on your body alone. So just to do that the first time round, having done it myself last year, is a big thing. And it's not easy. And then on top of that, you've then got to race a motorbike against the best people in the world. So it's not an easy task. For everyone sat at home watching it, I just wish him all the best because it is difficult. I hope next year he'll have his second year and really push forwards.
Here's the starting grid then for Moto2. It's Somkat Chantra on pole position. Igu is second. Jake Dixon takes third. Pedro Costa fourth. Philip Salak fifth. Alonso Lopez lines up sixth on the grid. Seventh for Aaron Canet. Sam Lowes takes up in eighth position. Ninth for Firmin Igu. 10th on the grid. Manuel Gonzalez. Joe Roberts is in 11th. It's Marcos Ramirez in 12th. Tony Alvarino 13th. Sergio Garcia 14th on the grid as well. 15th for Zontamanda Goldberg. Dennis Foggia is 16th. Barry Bolter 17th. Dan Binder 18th. Isaac Guevara in 19th. Albert Arenas 20th. Boben Schneider, Cortenoze, Jeremy Alcoba, Tiga Hadar, followed by Sean Kelly, Borja Gomez, Rory Skinner, Alberto Sura, Senna Ortegas and Mateo Cassidy as well coming through as well. But for Alonso Lopez, it is a third offence for irresponsible riding during the Indian Grand Prix, meaning he has a double long lap to complete. That is for Alonso Lopez. BT Sport or TNT Sports was a bit late there coming on. They usually throw it to Gav before that, and then the intro came on when they were talking. So apologies for that to sync up with, but we're on the formation lap now. Let's check in with Gavin Emmett, and he's alongside Michael Laverty, who's made his way to the combox.
Gets to grips with Motegi for the very first time. We ride on board with Jake Dixon, whose pace was nowhere. In fact, he had to go through Q1. He had a crash in the third free practice session, but just wasn't quite working for him. We know they've been playing with that engine brake throughout the year to find some feeling, particularly in the early stages of a race, and it just was a little bit too aggressive. Hopefully, what they found to put him on the front row of the grid may well work in the race. Michael Laverty has finally made it back from his interviews down on the grid. It's really hard to look anywhere other than the Honda Team Asia squad, but when you've got Jake Dixon third and Pedro Acosta fourth, there's challenges there.
Yeah, indeed. Looking at the way the weekends developed for Jake, we found a big step for Q1, got through, and then Q2 improved again. Spoke to him this morning, and he's made some further tweaks on the engine brake and maps. They did change the base chassis setting a little bit, but the main breakthrough was engine braking. So they've got options on the left handlebar. He can change a few maps, so they're going to try something different. If it doesn't work, he'll go back to what he raced in Q2. So hoping that Jake has something to go with the Honda Team Asia boys. And as you mentioned, Pedro Acosta, when you're on the left side of the grid, it's a tough one, turn one, because you're on the outside there and it comes all the way back around itself, but you wouldn't rule him out of being top three on the way out of the first corner, and he's a racer. He'll figure out a way to battle with the Honda Team Asia boys up in their rhythm. They do have a few tenths in their pocket right now.
Pedro Acosta leads the title, 236 points. Of course, Tony Albarino at 197. There is 39 points difference between them. Jake Dixon, 90 points back from Acosta, 51 back to Tony Albarino at 146. There's a long way to go here. 19 laps ahead of us for the Moto2 Grand Prix of Japan. Pole position to Somkat Chantra in the number 35 as well. Can he take his second ever win? He won his first in Indonesia last year, and there is such a support for him here as well. The Thai driver lining up on pole position. Ayagura second, green flag in the back. All eyes to the lights. The Moto2 Japanese Grand Prix begins now. Good start from Songkat Chandra. Heel shot across the inside line. Jake Dixon goes into second position. Ayagura gets forced out wide. Pedro Acosta sweeps round the outside and takes second position. Acosta through, goes a bit too wide, then he gets taken out as well by Alonso Lopez, who moves up into third position. So Lopez making the best start possible as they come in towards turn 3 for the first time. It's Songkat Chandra leading, going out wide, very wide in fact, goes Tony Arbolino, who gets set up on the deck. So Arbolino already, his title hope starting to go a little bit down. The 87 getting forced out wide there as well. Or that could have been the 67 actually of Alberto Sura getting kicked out there as well. So apologies for that. The 6 looks like an 8 on the timing screen, but still fantastic start from Songkat Chandra. Jake Dixon in second position. Pedro Acosta was in second at turn 1. He's dropped back now into 7th position. And Alonso Lopez up into 3rd, but has that double long lap penalty to serve. But Sam Lowes is up into 5th position. So Sam Lowes, for him, this race is already turning out really well. No jump starts according to race control, which is great news, as they'll fight back through out of turn 10. You can hear how loud the bikes are compared to my microphone. I hope you can hear them. Over my earphones, I can barely hear myself. Hopefully you can hear me back home as well. Making a move, Sergio Garcia passing Joe Roberts, the American, the inside lines to come through turn 10. Down we go, once again, towards 11. There's Dixon having to come across to defend from the 21 of Alonso Lopez, but Ayagura's dropped down into 4th position, and he was the one we have to think about it. There's the confirmation for the long lap penalty, the double long lap penalty for Alonso Lopez. They fly by. The Moto2 bikes sounding even more louder compared to everybody else. The Kalex, the Bosconi, and the forward chassis all coming through. Lap 1 complete. Chandra leads, Dixon, Lopez, Agura. Well, Lopez doesn't really count, but I'm looking at Pedro Acosta in 7th position, struggling on the inside line. And he could not get ahead of Philip Salak, who's moved up into 6th position. So there was a little bit of a change there that needs to be figured out as they swing backwards in towards turns 2 and 3. Chandra, Dixon, Lopez, Acosta made a bit of a wrong move there, and then Salak went through on the inside. Acosta picked it back up on the inside, and now Acosta has moved back up into 6th position. There goes Alonso Lopez checking Jake Dixon for 2nd. What was that about? Lopez not using his brain there, and maybe that's why he got a 3rd offence. Alonso Lopez not a fan here of everybody. Everybody's getting a little bit annoyed at him for what he keeps doing out there on the track. Jake Dixon now under pressure from Scott. Is that Agura's passed him? Agura's passed him. So that dive bomb from Alonso Lopez for literally no reason has cost Jake Dixon 2nd position. And now Sam Lowes is right there with him. But Chantra's already pulled out an 1/8 of a second gap. So Chantra's pulled out at the front, which is not what anybody wanted to see happen. We wanted a nice, clean, close run. But what a start as well. Sam Lowes making up ground. Dixon up to 2nd position, now down to 4th, but Chandra holding the lead, I think was my top moment there as they come down in towards turn 11 once more. And there we go, seeing a little bit of move. Sam Lowes under attack from Pedro Acosta on the inside line at turn 11, and Acosta goes through. Gap now in the title in between Acosta and Alberino, 44 points, 246 to 202. Correction, 247 to 202, as Acosta picks up an extra point now for going into 5th position. So Chandra leads 1.1 seconds, and it's a 1:59.53 across as the fastest lap time at the moment. Everybody running in it so deep through 1 and 2, but Songkat Chandra for the 2nd time in his career on course to win, and is setting out the distance at the front. Let's check in with TNT.
Teammate has got to get through Alonso Lopez. He will get a chance, as you see. Agura, that trademark sideways style into turn 3, closing in on the rear of Lopez. Agura will get the opportunity when Lopez dips in for his long lap penalty.
Yeah, obviously it's another lap, but when you see Chandra dropping the hammer out front, he's already stretched up to 1.2. This is on board with Sam Lowes down into or sorry, on board with Pedro Acosta down into turn 5, running onto the rear wheel of Pedro off Jake Dixon. Pedro's trying to get the run here, but look, Jake's quite fast through the fast right-hander.
Yeah, it showed how much he was compromised last time as Ayogura attacked in front. You could just see ahead in the S section.
Agura has passed Alonso Lopez. So Lopez still got to serve that double long lap penalty within 3 laps, so he's going to serve it soon. He's 3 laps now. He got served on lap 1, so he's got 1 extra lap to do it, which will be next time around. Chantra leads 1.6 seconds to his teammate there, Navaya. The Honda Team Asia 1-2 at their home event is exactly what we wanted to see. As you'll just listen to the bikes scream through as they come downhill towards turn 11. It's an absolute mess there as Jake Dixon trying to hold on for 4th position to Pedro Acosta. Sam Lowe's running in a bit too deep there, having to pick the bike up. That's going to give the advantage coming to Philip Salak, as literally you can barely hear the noise under the tunnel sections of this track, just making the bikes go even worse. It's louder than ever, the Moto2. It's like they've turned up the engines massively, but Acosta goes to the inside line, gets ahead of Jake Dixon, late to the brakes, can't get ahead. Dixon shuts the door. So Dixon again keeping it together. Oh, and Acosta's going through. He's found a way through. Dixon made a mistake. Acosta goes side by side to the outside line, coming towards turn 3. And he's got him. He's got him. Acosta's got him. Acosta up into 4th position. Jake Dixon now down into 5th position. So they had that change around. Didn't really make that much of a difference, I'm afraid. Really are closing it together as they try and come through. Now, Lopez has not taken his long lap penalty yet. He hasn't. Has he taken 1 or 2? No. Lopez hasn't done a thing. So Lopez is facing a black flag here.
Sergio Garcia and Manuel Gonzalez both have acquitted themselves really well this season. They are wanted men. Sergio Garcia will be switching to the MT helmets. Will be Ayogura's teammate next year. That'll be a strong lineup, won't it? Yeah,
Strong lineup for a debut team in Moto2. MT helmets obviously having success in Moto3 with Diogo Moreira and Sharifat and Asman, but no, it's going to be a 4-rider setup with 2 further Moto2s on the grid for the MT helmet
Look
squad.
at Chantra.
Chantra's gone, Michael.
Yeah.
Chantra's gone. It's over 2 seconds now. He's checking out that last lap. I know Agura had to make the move on Lopez and probably having to ride a little bit defensively in the knowledge you've got Lopez behind. Chantra was half a second quicker than his teammate.
Yeah, on this lap, it looks like Eyes matched them better, but yeah, you're right. It just seemed like Suncat had an extra little bit in the tank and it was really... Well, he's the only one in the 52nd bracket. Everyone else is in 51 so far.
The question is going to be tyres, isn't it, for Chantra? How well is he looking after them at this stage? Agura, we know, will get stronger as the race goes on. Acosta, Dixon, Lowe's, all pretty much the same. Chantra...
I'm starting to wonder if Lopez has forgotten he's got to take that long lap penalty. I genuinely am, because he's not doing a thing. There goes Salak passing Sam Lowe's. Now here's the long lap loop. And now Alonso Lopez does take the first one. So Lopez now finally takes his first of the double long lap penalties. He has to serve at this event, and he filters back in, trying to look behind Sam Lowe's in 7th position. So he'll drop another couple of places next time around as well. But he's right in the back. So we have 15 laps to go. 1 lap 5 of 19 here. The Japanese Grand Prix for Moto2. Just checking the Twitch chat. All good. Hello, everybody watching along. 2.1 seconds clear is Chantra, just taken off completely. Chantra leads. Agura, Acosta, Dixon, Salak the top 5, Lowe's, Lopez, Garcia, Gonzalez, Roberts the 10, Arborino, Ramirez, Van der Golsberg, Canet, Binder, Foggia, followed by Agura, Guevara, Boltus, Ben Schneider, follow then Arenas, Hadar, Alcoba, Sura, Nozane, Kelly, Aguras, Gomez, Cassidy and Skinner. And they come in then, changing over. Alcoba passes Hadan. Look at that. Chantra already into the braking zone for turn 11. 2.1 seconds clear of his teammate Ayogura. And Pedro Acosta in 3rd position now, ahead of Jake Dixon. And he will be setting off. He was 4/10 a lap faster than Dixon on the last lap. Acosta completely running up to try and get in to the 2 Honda Team Asia bikes. As we start, 14 laps to go, lap 6 of 19.
Costa for title honours when Pedro's having a rough day, sat in 3rd place with just 2 Honda Team Asia bikes up ahead.
Dixon in 4th behind Acosta. What you have to say about Acosta, when he hasn't been able to win, he's tended to just maximise things, hasn't he? Whether it be the podiums at Silverstone or in Assen, you know, behind it was Agura and Dixon on that day in Assen as Lopez. No, he's on the white line on that occasion.
He does. Cuts it very fine indeed.
The white line is okay. It's only if you go onto the green.
Yeah. Once you touch the green paint, it's an immediate further long lap loop penalty that needs to be executed, but you can't run over the white line. You can
He's completed
see
it.
how narrow it is, so obviously the paint is considered within the limits.
It says on the timer screen
Lopez
completed.
is now rejoined ahead of Tony Arbolino. Just what the Italian wanted to see as now Marcos Ramirez comes through, and this is Arbolino's title aspirations fading in front of our eyes.
Yeah, he can feel it slipping away, so he wouldn't expect Marcos Ramirez to be making overtakes at this stage in the race. Alonso Lopez coming out of the long lap penalty in front of Arbolino could have been good. It could have helped him up the pace and get across to the group in front and salvage a good haul of points, but yeah, for Tony it's just not coming easy. Oh, a little bit wide there from Lopez. I thought it was going to open the door for Marcos Ramirez, but he did pull it back for the 2nd apex.
You have to give Ramirez credit, don't you, having made the switch from forward. We weren't necessarily all enamoured with how it transpired with Sean Dillon Kelly and the rupture between what were really friendly parties and management teams there. But you have to say, since Ramirez has got that opportunity, he's grabbed it with both hands.
He has indeed. It's never nice, any mid-season split, as amicable as the teams and both parties try to say it is, there's always a little bit of aggro, and yeah, it's Sean Dillon Kelly slightly unfairly ousted from his seat, but Marcos Ramirez stepping up from forward into the American racing squad, jumping back on a Calyx and making a fist of it. So he's definitely upped his game in 11th in this race, in there battling with the current 2nd place man in the title race. So yeah, you got to say full credit to him.
And I will say that Sean's actually acquitted himself well on the forward bike so far.
Yeah,
loves the braking, he says. Perhaps not quite where he got to be on the American racing machine. Philip Salach lurking behind Dixon. So, whoa, Salach is going to have to run it deep.
Salach's gone deep.
And he's going to take Sam Lowes' ride next year, but Lowes is going to take the position from him. So Lowes into 5th place now. And that was really nothing more than Salach just setting up a move, realised it wasn't on, saw Jake Dixon's rear wheel in his face and had to pick it up.
Yeah, exactly. Slightly evasive action, and it meant he was wide. It allowed Sam back through again. So I think Salach has got good pace, but he is maybe over-aggressive in some of the braking zones, and if you just miss your apex, it does cost you on the run out of the next corner onto the straight. So yeah, sometimes smoother can be better.
Front tyres, we're going to talk about them in Moto2 again, aren't we? Here.
What's happened? Someone's gone down. Is it Joe Roberts? Yeah, Roberts isn't it? He's not gone down, but he's running through the gravel. Joe Roberts getting his braking zone a little bit too wrong, coming down to turn 10, going through the gravel, looking not to drop it, and he gets back up and will return to the circuit. So actually very well done from Joe Roberts to keep that position up. Let's take a look at it. So actually this is further down as, oh no, there we go, it just goes through. Hang on a minute, Sam Lowes is dropping. Oh, don't tell me Sam's crashed. Where is he? Sam Lowes is dropping down the timing screens in yellow sector 4. Sam's crashed. Oh no, no. Sam Lowes has crashed out again, a 2nd time in 3 races. Oh, Sam, no, he crashed out last time as well, yeah. Sam Lowes again retires from the Moto2 race. He's okay, but can't believe it again. You can't believe it. Now all hopes on Jake Dixon P4 to try and get a podium back from somebody from the top 3.
Who in turn is for a 2nd in front of Acosta. Dixon and Acosta personal best laps on that last lap, and they both match Chantra and Agura at the front. Then it's Garcia up to 6th, again making the progress as Marcos Ramirez is going to, I thought he was going to attack Alonso Lopez. They've got Gonzalez in front, and then it's Lopez 8th, Ramirez 9th, Arbolino 10th. You know what? From having done 2 long lap loops, Alonso Lopez in 8th place is a solid return.
It is, and he's not getting it easy from Marcos Ramirez. He's trying to find a way through. on what you would imagine is the faster of the Spanish riders. So I thought Alonso Lopez, with the pace he had in the early laps, would drag Marcos up to the group in front to chase over to Manuel Gonzalez and Sergio Garcia. But on this lap, it looks like Ramirez is actually the stronger of the two.
Nozane's dropping down. Nozane's crashed
At
out.
the front, look at the gap. Somkiat Chantra now 2.4 seconds as a yellow flag.
Nozane's
Further
gone down.
back, I think it might be Kota Nazane who has gone. Oh, and that's
Feminine
Ferdinand again
Aguirre
running off.
Yeah, Aguirre's running off into the gravel. He's going to live to fight another day. Through the gravel down at turn 11, and he'll get back on the circuit in last position. Wow.
Right to the back of the field. He allows, there's Rory Skinner just going through. He is at the back behind Mattia Casadei. Hasn't got to grips with it this weekend, really. Skinner.
There's a group together, so it is Borja Gomez, Mattia Casadei and Rory Skinner together on the previous lap.
Nazane.
Aldeguer's joined them.
So Nazane will be replaced by Ayumu Sasaki next year. I think that's a really good signing for both, actually. Oh, there it is for Sam Lowes.
Just dropped
He
into
had the
turn.
pace today, and he was riding up in 5th place. And that's not Lowes, that's Nazane's crash.
It's the dampness on the
But yeah,
track
I
just
think
offline.
for Sasaki to get that ride.
Yeah, the links with Yamaha, you can see it on the top of the fairing there. It is a Yamaha-owned and run team, and VR46 Master Camp, you can see the logo on the nose cone as well, so there's definitely a good association there. They are trying to promote talents from the Asian region at the moment. I imagine Ayumi's going to replace Kota Nozane. They do want to keep Manuel Gonzalez, but his name's been linked in various other teams with Grassini and Fantic. But yeah, I think
Foggia!
Ayumu
Foggia's down. Foggia's down. Well, they're dropping like flies now in the Moto2. Oh yeah, there's Nozane. So yeah, Foggia's gone down and he's crashed out. Rider okay, tumbling down the timing screen. So is Aiguë, actually, looking at it. So has he gone down a second time in that sector? And they're out of the race completely. He's even walking away from the bike. So that's very unfortunate. So that's Sam Lowes, Nozane and Foggia. And let's have a look. Oh, Foggia stopped away from him on an entry, actually. So that's a really weird one for Foggia. He knows immediately the bike's gone. Just turned into the front drops. Halfway, lap 10 of 19 and 10 laps to go here in the Japanese Grand Prix. It's been an interesting start to the race. Ambient temperature at 25 degrees. Track's damp. It's dry enough, but we had overnight rain, so it's very green, this surface, and it's damp offline. So it's not 100% fully ready for racing conditions. As what's happened here to Sergio Garcia? Yellow flag sector 1. Sergio Garcia's crashed out. He becomes our latest victim in the race now as well. So they are dropping like flies now. There is Garcia, turn 3. And that's the middle half of them as well. So it's going to be on entry. 4th bike in shot. Let's take a look. Yeah, turns it in. Front drops away. Really unfortunate for Sergio Garcia. Another one down there, that part of the track as well.
Sudden warnings, isn't it? Past the halfway point of the race. And something that Chantra will have to keep an eye on out front. Still, he is keeping his nose clean as things stand and keeping the gap very steady between himself and Aguirre in second.
It's funny how the both riders this weekend have just had supreme speed. Oh, a little bit of a touch of the paint, slightly unnecessary there for Aiguirre. He could have kept it on the track, but that is one mark against his name. But yeah, the both riders, they've looked good throughout practice, qualifying. They've had something a bit more. Obviously, I being strong here last year will help. They have a good base setting to work from, but Somkiat's really stepped up his game from how he performed here 1 year ago.
Yeah, he was 5th in the race here a year ago, but it's like these sorts of tracks, they're just aggressive on the brakes, aren't they? And like it backing in as Sam Lowes comes back into his garage. And an early back for him, he'll head home before going to Indonesia in 10 days' time.
Ramirez has found a way through on Alonso Lopez. Arbolino's coming back into the battle as well. But yeah, Aaron Cannett's having a bit of a off day, just inside the top 10, so it's...
I think that will happen at the start, though, for
true.
Canet. The one thing here is, of that group, I'd actually fancy Tony Arbolino to have something at the end of the race. Lopez and Canet have had form for just dropping off in the latter stages.
Yeah, that's where Arbolino's very strong. Even if he's having a tough day, he'll scrap all the way to the end and usually maintains his pace better than some of the others around him. So that's what he's got today. It's not enough to even match Ramirez. It's I think it might be enough for Lopez as the race goes on. Oh, we're seeing a steward's decision for Rory Skinner. Has made an overtake under a yellow flag and will need to drop one position. Unfortunately, there's no... Oh, he actually is ahead of Mattia Casadei.
Yeah, he passed Mattia Casadei, obviously, under the yellow flag, but that's frustrating when you're beaten at the back of the field and then you pass the guy in front of you and then you've got to drop again, but I'm sure he'll see that. They're in 24th, 25th, with Aldeguer in 26 behind. So we ride on board with Aaron Canet.
Closing in now. 9 to go.
To the downhill straight.
Not a bad race.
Here's the number 40 behind the 14 of Arbolino and the 21 of Alonso Lopez. And right behind, Zonta van der Gerberg, who is steadily chipping away at Moto2, isn't he? And really starting to get to grips with the class.
He is. What we've seen in India is possibly the form we may see from him another year down the line. It was a brand new track for everyone, so all of a sudden his level steps up of experience because no one's got a base setting to work from. They don't have prior knowledge of the racetrack. So yeah, Zonta obviously coming back to Motegi for his second visit, and he's right there with the potential championship favourites, Aaron Canet and Tony Arbolino.
Yeah, and Canet now has gone through on Arbolino. We talk about Arbolino maybe having more tyre as we go on in this race, but that one was one of those. Front, obviously feeling it, had to run a little bit deeper, and Canet turned underneath him.
Cassie's in the chat this morning.
The gap opening up, Michael, to 49 points. Not great for a Tony.
It's not over yet, but what the form we've seen from Tony in recent rounds wouldn't suggest that he's going to overturn a 49-point deficit if things end up as they are currently at the end of this race.
Rory Skinner did allow Casadei past.
Oh, there goes
Unfortunately,
Canet.
as he did so, Fermin Aldeguer came in through on both of them. So he is to back to the back of the field as we go on board. Ooh, with Canet, that was tight.
Yeah, trying to wait on a little bit too early on the run out of the S-bends, but obviously Alonso just waiting that little bit longer to tap on the throttle and pick the bike upright more on the exit.
Just over 7 laps remaining, Michael. As we're on board there with Canet, just keep an eye on Pedro Acosta here. Just done a personal best lap of the race. Ayogura in front of him has just taken half a second out of Somkiat Chantra. Are we starting to see this race, which has opened up, start to concertina back again as Arbolino now under pressure from Zonta van der Gerberg?
Oh, he's got deep.
He's got real front tyre problems.
He does. He's lost 2 positions there. Darren Binder coming through as well, but Arbolino was a little bit wide at the hairpin and Zonta slid up the inside, but then Arbolino trying to fight back into turn 11, couldn't pull it down and cost himself even more time. So he's...
Yeah, this is really not working well out for Tony Arbolino. Shaking his head going down the start, finish straight towards his pit crew. Now he's 51 points back to Pedro Acosta. That's 2 race wins plus an extra point. That's with not many races to go, 6 after this to go. It's going Acosta's way. He can do it in a couple of races' time. And it's really quite surprising that MotoGP and Moto2 going strong. Oops, as locking up Zonta van der Gerberg going straight on. And losing out on a couple of positions. But yeah, it's really surprising that Acosta's got this one so wrapped up. He's just going to be happy with 3rd place. Somkiat Chantra, however, on course for his 2nd ever race win. He is just taking it off massively. Great action, great things at the front. 1.4 seconds ahead. Chantra really is finding his own rhythm at the front.
Sudden you're under pressure. It'll be interesting to see if he can respond whenever his signal from his crew comes out next time around.
It must have been a mistake somewhere halfway round that last lap. On board with Canet, now ahead of Lopez and seemingly dropping his compatriot. Pulls away, doesn't he, from Lopez there. Of course, he's on the Calex, Lopez on the Bosco-Scuro.
Yeah, the Bosco-Scuro worked really well around here last year, and in the early laps, I thought Lopez had the turn-in and stopping performance to battle for victory today without those 2 long lap penalties. But looking at him now, it definitely doesn't seem like he's got the grip to maintain the pace he had in the early laps.
Here's your race leader, Chantra, and he has responded. He's gone back into the low 151s. 51.1 from him, 51.2 from Agura, 51.3 from Acosta, and a 51.1 from Dixon, who's got back within a second now of Acosta. So with 6 laps remaining, there's still life in it. It's just a little bit spread out. They each appear to be responding to each other.
Yeah, the times are still fast at 51.1 for Chantra, 51.2 for Ayagura. Acosta a further tenth of a second adrift. But yeah, I think you could be right. I think Chantra maybe made a mistake last time around, and that was why there was a 7/10 difference in the 2 lap times. But a good response from Chantra, just steadying things last time around.
And I will say, this 4th place for Jake Dixon might not be a headline grabber, but it's one of those where in tough times this weekend, the team and he have worked, responded, made adjustments. You don't have a warm-up to check things, but it appears to have paid off.
And you could see the early laps that whenever he got attacked by Alonso Lopez and then lost a little bit of ground, that may have been where he was trying to figure out the new engine brake setting, and it looks like he's settled in such a good rhythm now, as he always does. You know, 5-6 laps to go, everything always comes to Jake. He always keeps a good pace right to the end of the race, but this weekend it wasn't enough to challenge the Honda Team Asia guys, and it's keeping Pedro Acosta honest. So in terms of performance for Jake on a tough weekend, you got to say that's an A+.
Give credit to these two out front though. Chantra from Agura, a class apart really. They're pulling back away now from Pedro Acosta. That's Hiroshi Ayama just asking for a little bit of calm from his riders. He'll be hoping they've seen him on the big screen doing that, but you just want them to bring it home now, don't you? They cross the line, 5 laps remaining, Chantra leading, 1.6 the gap. They're both the only riders now in that 151.1 bracket.
Yeah, matching each other lap on lap at the moment. So yeah, difficult one, because does he push it over the limit and then throw away 20 points, and a 1-2 for the team at home? It's a tough one, but yeah, Hiro just wants it to run out these last few laps. No antics from either rider. Boring finish for us, but with yeah, perfect day at the office for the Idemitsu Honda Team Asia squad.
Wouldn't be their first 1-2, would it? I remember Austria last year.
Austria it was, yeah.
That's where Chantra made life really tough for his teammate who was battling for the title, and he passed him, and you're thinking, whoa, hang about, it's fine. Obviously, you want the rider to go on and win the race, but the way he did it was fairly aggressive, and Agura had to work hard to keep him at bay. Yeah,
I remember being surprised at the time Agura was battling for a championship. We thought Songkiat will do his mate, because they are good friends. They're obviously a friendly rivalry inside the pit box. It will be interesting to see how things work for Songkiat next year when he essentially leads the garage as Agura moves to the MT Helmets team, but they seem to have a real good bond.
He's almost been in sympathy that his results haven't quite been there this year after Ayagura's early season issues. Agura is 12th in the championship now, Chantra in 9th. In fact, Agura not too far behind Chantra. It's very steady though, isn't it, at the front? 1.5 seconds between all of them, really. And then Philip Salac back in 5th. That's back to some kind of form, isn't it, from Salac? Had gone away from him. In fact, it's going to be his best result since he was on the podium in France.
Oh, that's a long wait for Philip to be back inside the top 5. He was really impressive in the early rounds. Picked up the contract for Mark VDS once Sam vacated the spot with his decision to move to World Superbike next year. And Salac, young rider, a lot of talent, and I think a good selection from the Mark VDS team.
Another personal best lap by one of the top quartet, and it's Pedro Acosta, who was just a couple of tenths quicker than Agura, with 4 laps remaining.
Oh!
There we are. Another move from Zonta van der Gerber, retaking the places he lost. Alonso Lopez also dropping back steadily.
Yeah, Lopez down into 11th position now. Was running 8th, wasn't he, after his double long lap penalty, so he's dropped back there. Alberino down into 12th position. Not really much luck going on there, I'm afraid, but 4 to go. You've got to admit, this has been a great ride from Chantra. Led from the start, every single lap, pole position, and he's looking good. But Pedro Acosta, 252 points now. Alberino on 201. That's a 51-point gap. Dixon finishes 4th in this race at the moment. He's 93 points back. Canet's out of the championship hunt, 128 back. Arguably so is Dixon, with 6 to go. So there's 100... and trying to do mental maths, 150 points left. So it's mathematically Acosta versus Alberino. As what's happened to our timing page? We've just got information come through from somebody, but we're not getting information as to what has happened. Has Bo Benschneider gone down? No, he's okay. He's still there. I'm looking at everything. I'm looking at the intermediate screen as well as the timing screen, and nothing's telling us as to exactly what's changed and what's happened. So your guess is as good as mine there. But Somkat Chancho, 3 laps to go, leads the Moto2 Japanese Grand Prix in superb style. Ayagura second, Pedro Acosta third, Jake Dixon in 4th position at the moment. And Honda teammate on course for another win.
Off of those riders, and maybe even Lopez, who is dropping very quickly into their clutches. There are challenges to the riders at this stage of the race, Michael.
Yeah, obviously Joe Roberts recovering time after running into the gravel, so he will get into the mix with Guevara and Arbolino, you would imagine.
At the front, still Agura pushing hard, a 151.2. It was a 51.5 from Chantra. Now, I'm sure Chantra is just doing everything he can to manage the tyre situation at this stage of the race. But if he gets under a second on this lap, just be a few nervy moments between the housemates.
Indeed, you get a little bit of a sniff. You see the rider settling a little bit, watching his pit board, managing the gap, and you think if you really put the hammer down, you might jump across half a second. And once you're within half a second, that's nice from Ayagura into the B-turn.
I love watching Ayagura on a Moto2 bike. That was beautiful.
He will be a good MotoGP rider when he steps up, which we expect to happen in maybe 2025.
Yeah, we say maybe because next year, even if Marc Marquez moves out and possibility there's another slot up for grabs at Honda, it sounds like Johan Zarco would go there because Ayagura is going to go to empty helmets in Moto2 next year, but still under the Honda umbrella. That was a bit wide.
Yeah, made a mistake there. When it slides sideways all the way to the apex, he can really perfectly execute with that riding style, but on this occasion, it just pushed him a little bit deep and missed his apex. That will cost him in Sector 4.
Yeah, it will. If he'd have kept the pace going from the previous couple of laps, he'd have been right there, perhaps, but now, Chantra quickest on that last lap. Japanese have already, in Moto3, had good things to cheer about, and now they've got it with Ayagura here. Just needs to keep it steady for this
2 to go.
Remaining lap and 3/4. Another solid ride, though, from Pedro Acosta, who will, of course, extend his championship lead over Tony Arbolino. And there is Arbolino now. Look at Joe Roberts, how much ground he's made up, 1.2 seconds on that last lap.
Timing screens have frozen on all devices,
Joe will be
not just
frustrated
yours.
the mistake that he made up at the hairpin. It's cost him a potential strong top 10 finish today, but he's shown good late race pace as he did in India as well.
Zonta van der Gerberg's the one who's got the best pace of all this group. He's just ahead, actually, of this group now. You can see there's Darren Binder and van der Gerberg ahead of him.
Yeah, timings are frozen. Okay, that's an interesting run around. So we'll come back up to the camera. It's not just you, because the timing monitor on the streaming PC is frozen, but also on the other 2 timing monitors on different computers. So they've frozen too. So the systems at Dorna having a little bit of a problem. They stopped 2 minutes ago, to be precise, according to this timing monitor. So Dorna can't even get their own systems working at the moment. So this is the penultimate lap of the race. Chantra leads by 1.644 to Agura. Then it's Acosta, Dixon, Salak, Gonzalez, Ramirez, Cannon, Van der Golsberg have been to the top 10. That's how things currently stand. As yet, timing tower is still frozen for some reason. But we're on to the last lap now. So this is the last lap. Apparently the timing tower has frozen in terms of the lap counter, but the timing page is still working. As Alberino comes under pressure from Joe Roberts down towards turn 1. Roberts trying to go to the inside line. This is over 12th position, remember. And Roberts getting a little bit close. He's bringing in Aizan Guevara as well, who's 13th, so they're getting there. But Somkat Chantra On course for his second ever race win. Oh, and Arbolino on the inside of Alonso Lopez. That was crucial. Lopez gets forced wide, and that's over 11th position. So Arbolino goes through into 11th and makes his loss in the championship back up to 50 points between them now in this race, between himself and Acosta, who will finish in third. It's been an interesting Moto2, a bit like the entirety of the year, really. Not been exciting. We've had a couple of exciting races in Moto2 this year, but sadly quite a lot of them have been duds, as Lopez is going to get passed by Joe Roberts now on the inside through the S's section for 12th place. So Roberts to 12th, Lopez down into 13th place, but it's down towards turn 11. The last few sectors now are coming up for Somkat Chantra. The timing graphics are incorrect. This is the last lap of the race, and it's Honda Team Asia who have dominated a 1-2 on the grid with Chantra and Agura, and a 1-2 in the race with Acosta finishing in third place for the second time in his Moto2 career. Somkat Chantra wins the Japanese Grand Prix. Ayagura makes it a Honda Team Asia 1-2 at Honda's home circuit. Pedro Acosta finishes third. Jake Dixon is fourth. Philip Salak is fifth. Sixth for Gonzalez, Ramirez, Canet, Van der Gorsberg and Binder. The top 10, Arbolino, Roberts, Lopez, Guevara, Baltus takes us down to 15th. What a race. Honda Team Asia 1-2, and Somkat Chantra, after victory in Indonesia over a year ago, 18 months since his last race win, he proves he's still got it. The Thai rider wins here in Japan on a Honda bike. Honda have something to celebrate at their home race as the timing page finally updates. Somkat Chantra wins the Moto2 Japanese Grand Prix. Ayagura second, and Pietro Acosta takes third in the Moto2 Grand Prix Japan. So we've already confirmed how they finished. Let's just go through the rest of the field as well. Somkat Chantra taking the win with Ayagura second, Pedro Acosta finishing third. Jake Dixon is fourth with Philip Salak fifth, Manuel Gonzalez sixth, Marcos Ramirez is seventh, Aaron Canet eighth, Zonta van der Gorsberg is ninth, Dan Binder rounds out the top 10. Tony Arbolino is 11th from Joe Roberts in 12th, Alonso Lopez is 13th, Isaac Guevara 14th, Barry Baltus getting the last point in 15th. Jeremy Alcoba is 16th, followed then by Bo Ben Schneider, Alberto Arenas 18th, Tiger Hadar is in 19th, Alberto Sura 20th, Senna Aegas is 21st, Femin Ayagura 22nd, Sean Dylan Kelly 23rd, Borja Gomez 24th, Rory Skinner 25th, Mateo Cassidy 26th. The retirements from this race go with Sergio Garcia, Dennis Foggia, Kota Nozane and Sam Lowes as well. In terms of the World Championship standings, how things now look, that puts Pedro Acosta exactly 2 race wins ahead of Tony Arbolino. 252 points to Arbolino's 202, a 50-point gap in the championship. Jake Dixon has 159, Aaron Canet 124, Alonso Lopez 119. Somkat Chantra with victory here today puts him on 114. Philip Salak on 108, Justino Vietti on 106, Manuel Gonzalez 104, and Ayagura is on 95. That rounds out the top 10 here in this race. Sam Lowe still no points scored. He's down in 13th position as well for the Brit Czech. Second ever win then in the Moto2 category for Somkat Chantra, and Honda Team Asia finally have something to celebrate. A 1-2 here at their home circuit. Not a bad way to go about things. Let's hand over then back to TNT Sports, Gavin Emmett alongside Michael Laverty for the podium ceremony procedures to get underway, and then we'll start preparations for our build-up to MotoGP. Back to Gav.
Welcome back to Japan, where Somkat Chantra takes the applause from the marshals, from the crowd. very, very popular, as you can imagine, riding for a Japanese team. Put one over his Japanese colleague today, but he was just sublime. His performance was peerless. And as Ayagura celebrates second behind, Somkiat Chantra deserving every single one of those 25 points. That moves him up to 6th in the championships. A big leap.
Indeed. Actually, it's impressive when you see someone under pressure throughout, but not put a foot wrong and lap with such consistency at such a high pace. So, yeah, chapeau to both the Honda Team Asia riders, but especially Somkiat Chantra with that performance.
11th over the line for Tony Arbolino. It's just gone away from him. India, I thought it felt like he might have turned things around, finishing second to Acosta, stopped the rot. Look how popular Chantra is, and it's not just from the crowd, it's from people in the paddock, in pit lane. He really is one of those characters that people warm to, Michael.
Yeah, he's always got a massive smile on his face. He's definitely such a likeable character, and I think you mentioned it, he'll put bums on seats in Thailand, so the crowd are not getting their Japanese victor, but the team are Japanese, and they have a very fond feeling for Somkiat Chantra here, so you could hear the cheers as he entered pit lane.
Yeah, been through the Asia Road Race Championship, but did he ride in the Japanese Championship as well? But he definitely was over here in the Asia Talent Cup for many years, so they'll have seen him grow up, and that's a big one as well, I would say, Michael, for Honda. Ayumu Sasaki celebrates with his compatriot. Good day for the Japanese riders, but Honda having a good day at the office in Moto2. I know they're Triumph bikes underneath that, but there is a big Honda displayed on the side.
You can see it there, Brandon on the leather suit of Ayagura. But yeah, very Honda-driven team, and Hiroshi Oyama very much at the forefront of driving the young rider development from the Asia Talent Cup through the junior talent team in Junior GP and here into this team in both Moto3 and Moto2 with their Idemitsu-backed squad.
Oh, they're such good friends, aren't they? Off the racetrack, on it, they want to be number one. And Agura moves up to 10th in the championship. Having had his struggles this year, it's good to see them both. There's Ana Espeleta. She's down there because she's seen their rise, hasn't she? She's in charge of the talent programs, the Road to MotoGP. And she's looked after a lot of the young kids from these two, from their early teens.
Yeah, very much got a hand in the development process from British Talent Cup riders, European Talent Cup riders, and especially the Asia Talent Cup here. She's here this weekend because it is the final round of the Asia Talent Cup here, and these riders will seem like her prodigies or her graduates that have come through her system. So yeah, as you mentioned, Ayagura, one of those riders who's moving teams but staying very much part of the junior talent team development program.
Polite as always, Pedro Acosta, third place. Yeah, probably not what he wanted, but he'll think that's the best I could do, because the two Team Asia riders were in a different league this weekend, and he's done what he had to.
As he does, gets the most out of it every weekend, whether that's a third or a victory. Pedro knows what he can pull out of the package.
Let's see what he has to say. Third place for Acosta. He's talking to Simon Crafar.
Pedro, another podium towards your championship. Tell us about your race.
Well, it was, I think, a really tough race at the end. At the beginning, I make a mistake in first corner, then I tried to push, but the rear pushed a little the front, and to be honest, Asian boys have amazing pace for this. We take the maximum today, maybe tomorrow we can fight for the win.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's not a sprint, there's no race tomorrow. I think he means
my flight's booked tomorrow.
If there was a race tomorrow, I think he'd have another string to his bow. He'd be able to bring the fight to the Honda Team Asia boys, but yeah, it was their day.
Yeah, he did well, didn't he, to get through early on Jake Dixon. In the end, across the line, just shy of 2 seconds between them. That yo-yoed a bit. At one point, it was well under a second, but Costa then pulled out a couple of personal best laps. And he was 1.7 down on Agura as the top four just split up ever so slightly. I'm just waiting for Ayagura to have a word. That's it. He's going to be his third podium of the year, still to register a win this year. I bet now he'll be thinking he'll be targeting Thailand to make sure he can put one over his teammate.
We've been hearing how sick you've been over the last days. You'd still managed to put it on the front row anyway, and then today you fought all the way. Tell us about it.
Well, it was a tough race. I think we both are riding so fast in all the weekend, but he was always a little better than me. And in the race, beginning of the race, I was not really in the, how should I say? I was not really in a point that I can push, and some riders are passing me, and I lose a little bit in the beginning. So, but another podium, I'm really happy, and P2 in my home GP is really nice.
Congratulations.
Not giving too much away, as is his wont. But he did well. Didn't get the greatest of starts in the race. Lovely move to go through an Alonso Lopez. And even a burnout for the Japanese fans. He's a very different sort of character, isn't he?
Understated, quiet, but on track, flamboyant. That was a lovely pass down the inside of Alonso Lopez with a bit of supermoto action sideways into the turn.
Yeah, get him on a motorcycle and you wouldn't know he's that unassuming character off it. Opposite of unassuming is this man, your race winner, Somkhat Chantra.
Somkhat, you absolutely dominated everything possible this weekend, won the race for your team's home race. Tell us how you feel.
Yeah, this race in Moto2, I feel really good. Over the weekend is very good. It was an amazing week for me, and yeah, I'm really happy. I want to say thank you to the fans to support me. I want to say thank you to my team to make the bike very, very good. And yeah, I'm really happy for today. I'm really happy. And I want to say to the Thai fan, ขอบคุณพี่น้องแฟนๆชาวไทยทุกคนมากนะครับที่คอยส่งกำลังใจมาเชียร์ผมอย่างตลอดแล้วในเลสต่อไปที่อินโดนีเซียผมก็จะทำให้ได้อีกครั้งแล้วก็จะทำอย่างเต็มที่ครับแล้วเจอกันที่อินโดนีเซีย Bye!
Huge congratulations.
Nat Quirk down to you in the paddock.
Congratulations to Somkhat Chantra, a deserved winner today. Taylor, we said before that it's all right topping the timesheets all weekend. You've got to convert it. And we've seen that not happen for Chantra before in Thailand, I think, last year. But he put it all together and nobody could lay a glove on him.
Yeah, absolute domination all weekend. Last year, that's what he did in Thailand, leading up to the race, and then unfortunately crashed because there was a really big rainfall. But yeah, no signs of that today. He rode brilliantly, got away at the front early, did exactly what he needed to do, broke his teammate whilst he was caught up in the mid-pack, and just, yeah, lap after lap. His times were so consistent during the race. There was one lap where he had a little bit of a mishap, I think, and I pegged back half a second, but after that, they didn't see which way he went.
Yeah, an impressive performance, Neil. And an impressive celebration.
Yeah, we love him, don't we? We do love him. A proper character. Look, it wasn't a classic race, but it was a demonstration of fine riding. It was all about the start. Look, he gets the whole shot, and then that was it. Race over. Like we said, we were sort of half joking, going, well, they should have basically dropped the checkered flag at the end of the first lap because he just had that pace. And it's hard. I bet it was a long race for him. You know, when you're leading for so long and you're watching your pit board, it is stressful. You're watching the laps counting down, and it feels like it's taking forever. But it's under those pressure situations. Some people crack, make mistakes, but not Chantra today. And it was a class wheelie over the line. Great celebration. All-round good guy. I think the whole paddock's really good. And I like a bit of this. Don't know what's going on, really.
Don't you do it.
Maybe, no, I'm definitely not doing that. Pull me back out if I did that.
He looks like he's ready to get to his own GP anyway.
He's definitely ready, isn't he? Superb.
Yeah, absolutely superb. And just didn't look like I had the pace to keep up with him.
Although I think he actually probably did have the pace to keep up with him. It was just that early bit. Towards the end of the race, he was fast enough. The early part, he just really struggled and didn't. I'm not sure if it was the weather overnight. It rained overnight here, and the lack of grip potentially at the start of the race. But yeah, that early part of the race was what cost him. He was also had to pass a couple of riders at that point. But yeah, it's hard to match that when he's riding with such confidence and consistently fast. It's hard to get anywhere close to him.
And an important podium for Pedro Acosta. He wasn't able to beat the Honda Team Asia guys, but able to put it on the podium for some vital points at the top.
Yeah, it's one of them. It's not that impressive. but it's a World Championship winning podium. He wasn't the headlines this weekend. He didn't have the pace at all this weekend. When people are making mistakes around you, he bags another 16 points, and his main rivals are behind him, and he extends the lead. Class ride, really.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's have a look at the celebrations then. Let me hand you back to Gav.
Thanks, Natalie. Yeah, they're just about to make their way up onto the podium. It seems like they're quite slow on getting them out for the trophies here today. There's the Thai flag proudly being waved on the top step for just the second time in Grand Prix history, and both of them for Somkiat Chantra. And of course, we'll stick with that team next year. The talk is Mario Aggi will come up as his teammate. It's not quite clear yet what's going to happen, but Idemitsu representative up to collect the award, as you'd expect here at their home round. Acosta, another one, doesn't know where he's going to be riding actually next year yet. He's made a few sideways comments about it, about still being a little bit unsure, unaware, as now Chantra takes his place up on the top step. So the trophy from the mayor of Motegi, Tatsuka Gucci, to Idemitsu Honda Team Asia. Their first race victory of the season and their first success since this round last year, when of course it was Ayagura who was standing on the top step. Suzuki-san from the Japanese Federation is going to hand over the trophy to Pedro Acosta for third place. Another solid podium, isn't it, from Pedro, his 11th podium of the season in 14 rounds. It's hard to see anyone other now than Pedro Acosta being world champion this year. It was supposed to be Ayagura, his main challenger, but injury at the start of the year cost him his shot. Norman Rank in the glasses celebrates behind Hiroshi Aoyama, their second place. You can see Mario Aggi down there, actually, how tall he is. And he could well be Somkiat Chandra's teammate next year, who is now a two-time Grand Prix winner. Indonesia last year, now in Japan. Indonesia is up next, of course. Will Chantra repeat again? He's going to be on a fine run of form.
Champagne time for the Moto2 race here in Japan. Somkiat Chantra wins, Ayagura second, Pedro Acosta third. We go to Indonesia next in 10 days' time. But next up here, it's time for MotoGP. Moto2 though, championship going Acosta's way. Bye-bye.